Hi everyone, this is what happened to me when I got government housing part 62. Now we're up to the 3rd of the 5th, 2017. And on this day I attended the Melbourne Magistrates Court for a directions hearing to extend the personal safety order that I had against a respondent. I don't remember the details of that hearing and I don't remember that day. But I will say that these court hearings were killing me. Just for this one order, I was expected to make an application, get interviewed by the court staff, go into court for the interim order, go to a mention hearing, or more than one in cases where there was an adjournment, and then go to the directions hearing and then on to a full hearing. And the judge put the full hearing down for the 28th of the 6th, 2017. The lawyers who attend these hearings get paid around $1,800 a day. And clearly the police and the court staff were paid to be there. And most of these people were refusing to help me in every way that they could. And I was living in poverty and I was expected to turn up to court for nothing. It was really cruel and really degrading psychologically. But obviously it was financially degrading as well. Then on the 4th of the 5th, 2017, the respondent was using loud power tools inside his unit, which gave me a bad headache. Then on the 6th of the 5th, 2017, it sounded like the respondent was cutting through the light which was on my bedroom ceiling. And obviously I mean from inside his unit, which was above my unit. It sounded like he was cutting through the wiring to my light on my ceiling because he was moving a power tool back and forth above my light. Then my light bulb actually blew and I had to remove it, and my light actually hasn't worked since. And I don't know why, and I've tried to have it fixed, but I haven't been able to get it done. So I don't know what exactly he did or how he accessed the wire or what he was trying to achieve. But like everything else that happened to me, this was something that cost me money and caused me a lot of stress. Then on the 8th of the 5th, 2017, my daughter and I were woken up by the respondent using power tools inside his unit from around 4:30 a.m. And I put my daughter in my bed to comfort her, and I couldn't get back to sleep, so I couldn't go out later that day. I had intended to go to a community legal service to ask for advice regarding my case against the respondent, but I was just too tired from being kept awake from the sound of power tools, so I couldn't. Then on the 9th of the 5th, 2017, I had to go to work as a volunteer in the morning because of the obligations that the government placed on people to force them to work as volunteers if they were getting welfare. Then in the afternoon, I received a phone call from a manager from the Department of Human Services regarding the complaint that I had made about B, the child protection worker. I was happy to receive this call, but the fact that it had been over 5 months since B first turned up at my home, and I was still dealing with that issue on top of all the other administrative and safety tasks that I had to deal with at that time, made it really hard. So I'll call this manager who called me Mr. M. Mr. M was very polite and he was willing to listen to my complaint against B. And I think he had good communication skills. So he was a manager with the skills of a manager, which is what you would expect, but it's not always what you got, especially when dealing with these departments. After discussing my complaint with Mr. M, he agreed to email me any further questions that he had because that's what I asked him to do. And I don't know what he did with my complaint and I didn't want to know. I felt bad about not being able to prove my claims against B, and that's one of the main reasons why I film my interactions with public servants. Then on the 11th of the 5th, 2017, I went to a community legal service that runs at night. They take clients from 6 p.m. and they don't charge people for advice. So I took a tram down to this community legal service with my daughter and I spoke to a lawyer. I asked the lawyers about suing the police for police duty failure, and I believed that I had a good case, and I definitely believe that I had enough evidence with everything that I've compiled so far. But the lawyer that I spoke to claimed that I couldn't do that. And I thought that was weird because I know that people sue the police all the time. The lawyer claimed that the police are not obligated to help me, and I found that hard to believe as well, given that there are actually lawyers who specialise in suing the police when they fail to do their job. But there was nothing that I could do about the way this lawyer was speaking to me. And the supposed advice that he chose to give me. The lawyer said that one option that I would have would be to sue the Department of Housing because they were obligated to allow me quiet enjoyment of my property. But I was scared of retaliation from the property manager because I knew that she was a friend of the respondents and I feared that I would end up homeless if I took the Department of Housing to court. I had had experiences in private rentals before I got government housing where property managers had evicted me because I had stood up to them, and I couldn't let that happen again. That's a very traumatic experience and, very costly experience, and I couldn't let it happen again. But the main reason why I didn't want to move was obviously because I had a child to look after and I wouldn't subject my daughter to homelessness. Also, on that same day, I received a letter from the compensation court asking if I had any objection to the respondent being contacted about my application for compensation. I found this strange and I found it suspicious because I had already dealt with that matter. I already discussed that matter with them over the phone and I had already sent them emails about it, and I believe I'd actually sent them a hard copy letter about it to confirm that as well. And this is one of the problems that I was having with the court as well. I had people saying things to me that just didn't make sense to the point where it was basically creepy. And I had people talking to me who I had to question, what their identity was, because people would ring me up and claim that they were from the court, and they'd start saying all these things to me and asking, my consent and my position, my consent and my permission and my any details or just discussing complaints with me and so forth. And then they'd send me emails of the same thing, or I'd also get letters about the same thing, or I'd confirm things and they would claim that they weren't confirmed. It was all very strange, and I don't know why these people don't just stick to the preferred method of contact. Like, if someone like myself says, I would like to be contacted by a correctly formatted PDF document via email, I don't know why they can't do that. A lot of the time when I was dealing with people in the justice system, not just the court staff, but mainly with the police, if I ever did stipulate that I wanted to be contacted by hard copy mail or by in writing, by email, they would basically always either turn up at my home or ring me. And I don't know why they do that. I can't think of any reason why people who work in the justice system don't want to put things in writing. I think it's best for everyone. But I'll continue with my story in the next video.